If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge, from worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe. I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a broadcast, it's so easy. As I say, it's so easy, even a liberal can do it. Go to Reaver.one, that's REAVER.ONE. Click on the SHR TV button. While you're there, you'll also be in chat. Join the conversation. You can also go to, well, YouTube, of course. When you're at YouTube, search SHR Media. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button. We got a lot of great shows on this network. A lot of great shows. And lastly, you can go to Facebook and go to Reaver of Common Sense and watch it live there too. And all the places you can join the conversation. Don't forget, well, how can you forget? I didn't tell you yet. I'll be on Sackhead's radio show tonight after Reaver of Common Sense. I'll be talking about the situation here in Florida with Hurricane Irma. And any updates that I'm finding out, I'll pass on. And, hey, Jenna. Hope you're feeling better. So I'll be on tonight with the Sackheads for a few minutes. We'll talk response and all that's going on. It's... The one bad thing is, I think it was today, our tactical rescue units came back today from Texas. Now, and I know they're tired. I've been in their shoes. I know they're tired. They're exhausted. They'll go back to the stations. They'll get everything cleaned, restocked, and ready to go. And they'll be ready for Hurricane Irma to respond here in Florida. I have faith in these guys. The one thing we got trained to do is how to go without sleep. We know how to go without sleep. And when you're hitting these situations, the adrenaline kicks in and you can't sleep. So I have faith in these guys, and I know they'll do good. I know there's talks. FEMA, and it's not that it's going to be bad response. They're still doing rescues in Texas. They have still a response in Texas. They still have duties to do in Texas. Now, a buddy of mine works for FEMA, and he already got deployed to, I think it was the Virgin Islands. So FEMA's getting stretched. They got him in the islands. They have him in Texas. And now they got to find forces to put here in Florida. And I know they will. And I'm not bitching about it, so please don't take it that. I'm actually, I feel bad for them. Because these guys, but it's also what they train for. This is some of the stuff that they live for. And no, they're not sick. They don't want devastation, but, it's what they train for. This is what their being is about. It is responding to these types of situations. It's hard to explain unless you're in the situation. And it's not that they want people to get hurt and all that. That's not it. It's just this is what we do and this is what we love. And all I know is I hope everybody's safe. I was doing good with the storm. I was like, shit, we're in Tampa. It looks like it's hooking and going to go up the East Coast. We're good. Now, on the way home, I was listening to the Sean Hannity show. And I was like, shit. Now, I trust his reporting. I do. I honestly trust his reporting. He's here in Florida also, and he's keeping up to date with everything going on. And he had a meteorologist on, and they got talking. All of a sudden, they got talking how Sunday night to Monday, the storm will be up in Orlando area. And then Sean Hannity goes, and we can't forget about Tampa. It'll be hitting Tampa. I went, fudge sickles. My daughter was in the car. No, I actually said, fuck. I was like, fuck. And it's kind of like a ship. I mean, a storm is bigger than Florida itself. So that's one thing I got to think about. So I went to the store. And there was not a goddamn bottle of water, Gatorade. So I got a little creative. It was bad. I know it was. They had soda on sale for 5 cases for $11. So I got 3 cases of ginger ale. My daughter likes her grape soda. And a root beer. And then they had a sale on iced tea, so I got 2 gallons of iced tea. Hey, well, I have something to drink at least. Now I got thinking, I said, all right, I got 2 5-gallon jugs at home. Clean those out. I'll put some tap water into those. That's 10 gallons of water. Now, I got thinking, all right. Now, I was talking to my daughter about this, kind of bouncing it off her head. And I said, but I already got it. I just figured it out. We don't need to worry about, if we want to wash up or something or flushing the toilets. And she goes, I already told my teacher we got the rainwater. I went, you thought of that today? She goes, yeah, I was talking to my teacher, and I mentioned how we had 250-gallon rainwater tank, and the teacher said that's excellent. I didn't think of it until just then, which was like about 3:30 this afternoon. Here she is. She already thought of it. I was like, God damn that girl. So, yeah, I mean, wouldn't drink out of it unless, there was a last. It's been raining good enough. The water's been running out of it. It's sort of like in New York. New York's got some of the best water. New York City. And why is because the water gets pumped all the way up to the top of the high-rises. And it sits in a tank. Anything bad floats to the bottom of the tank. And the water spigot is above, way above. So all the bad stuff floats to the bottom, and you got pure water. You just got pure water. So in this tank, that's sort of how it is. And with the rain we've been having over the last couple months, it's pretty recycled in and out, in and out. And it's blacked out. So the sun's not getting in it. So I shouldn't have really any algae in there. But I figured, worst case worst, boil it. But it would be good for, what my mom would call a whore's bath. I know, I'll probably get in trouble for that. But that's what my mom taught me it is, where you just take a washcloth and, you wash your underarms, your face, your unmentionables, you just do the necessary stuff. And I was growing up on, I didn't grow up on a farm, but I spent time on a farm. My grandfather had one. And you didn't get to take showers every day. That was a waste of water. That was wasting water. So if you really wanted to take a shower, you had to go outside. And you had to spray yourself down with a hose that hooked to God knows where. But, you just clean up when you could. And it's funny because, talking to my wife, if she doesn't get at least a minimum one shower every single day, a full shower, like 15, 20-minute shower, she's grumpy. She can't take it. I'm like, I kind of used to it. Being on a farm. Growing up, maintenance and all that. You just... So for me, it's okay. I know nobody wants to really listen to any of this about my shower habits, but I'm just saying, kind of like in case of an emergency, it doesn't bother me. All right, when I've gone to Dover Raceway, we're in an RV. You don't have the ability, really. I know we had a shower in it, but you're talking 4 full adults. 7 days. The tanks don't really hold that much, so you have to be easy. And my wife just, oh my God, she would love going down, but she would bitch about the shower situation. So I think I am all set. I think I'm all set. We got food. We got water. The only thing I'm not going to be happy about is if the electricity goes out, there's going to be no AC. And my fat ass is going to be sweating. And sweating bad. So my wife turns around. She called me at work real quick to let me know because my daughter actually has off tomorrow and Friday. Because even if we don't get hit, they're saying it's going to be bad enough that they're going to have to evacuate people. And they're using Hillsborough County Schools as a primary evacuation where you can go to stay. So they shut the school down for 2 days, and the storm's not going to hit us until Sunday, so there might be more. But my wife called up to let me know, and she's like, well, what about a generator? I was like, what about a generator? She's like, should we go pick one up? I was like, well, hon, probably getting one right now is going to be next to impossible. Because everybody's out getting them right now. Now was the worst time to get a generator. And I was like, oh, we'll talk when we get home. Because I ain't made of money. And I've talked about my financial and how everything is with that. For a house generator, you're talking $10,000 at least. $10,000. Now, for a little generator, you're still talking $3,000-$4,000. And that's only going to do maybe a refrigerator, freezer, maybe a fan for you. But it's not going to do a whole hell of a lot in the house. So, I don't know. We do have to look at putting some kind of generator in. If we're going to start to get storms start coming in again. Because 10 years I've been down here. The longest I've been without power was, I think, 4 or 5 hours. Storm knocked the transformer out. But the thing is, it was just a storm, and my parents' house, which is 10 minutes down the road by a car, is on a different section. So they had full power. It was just my neighborhood didn't have power, so I was able to go to my parents'. But with a storm like this, I'm going to have to, because I actually might have my parents coming to stay with me, because what they're worried about is they have some very large trees. And they've been a little, as I explained yesterday, we're worried about them. And they're big enough, they would go through a roof. I laughed at my mom. I was like, hey, insurance will have to pay for a new roof then. She's like, well, I don't have the deductible right now. I was like, oh. Made a few jokes about it because the way insurance companies and the way the Florida laws are set up, it actually helps the people. Because the insurance companies try to rip you off, and then Florida law says, nope, you're screwed. I mean, to the insurance companies. Basically, I had damage on my roof in one area. But my roof was old enough that, number one, the code has changed. They can't use the old shingles that were on there. They couldn't just change that one small spot. Even if they could get the shingles, they would have to replace one whole section. But because the shingles aren't available and they couldn't match the color, and there was something else, they said, well, guess what? The whole roof has to be replaced. And the insurance says, no, we're only going to offer this. So the roofing company, knowing the laws, had all the people on the line. And I had a $1,000 deductible. I'm like, great, I'm going to have to pay a $1,000 deductible, all these legal fees, and da-da-da. Nope. It was ruled that they had to pay for the whole roof. And by the time everything got done, everything was covered, not a dime out of pocket. So I wouldn't be surprised these insurance companies trying to do that with a hurricane coming in and then getting taken to the court system. No. I told my mom, you can get a new roof, no cost. Because these insurance companies love to screw you. If you don't know, I hate insurance companies. The biggest scam there is insurance. Whether it's workman's comp, health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, house insurance, pet insurance, they're a scam. They are a scam. You got people that deny you that have no knowledge of what the issues are. They're not trained in it. My wife was doing health care insurance, and she was the one that would deny. Well, she knows the medical codes, but she don't know medical procedures. So she's denying people, saying, well, it's not necessary. I was like, how do you know it's not necessary, hon? And it wasn't her. It's the policies that are set forth. And these companies don't care. They will try, especially workman's comp is the fucking worst. They will spend a dime to save a nickel. I know it sounds really stupid, but they will spend that extra money thinking they're saving money. When in the long run, they waste more money. But they try to screw over. And what they do is all these insurances, they try to make it as difficult as possible that you give up, you give in to them. They get their way, and they get to save money by screwing you over. Whether it's car insurance, I've got insurance just always fights me. Workman's comp, oh, please. Please. When I hurt my back, they dropped me from the insurance, health or workers' comp. And I called up at it, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? We're going to charge you with fraud. What are you talking about? 10 years ago, you were in a car accident, and you didn't put that down. 10 years ago, 90s. Oh, shit. Yeah, I was in a car accident in my Mustang. Okay. Yeah, so? Well, you went to the hospital. We did some digging. So we're cutting you off, and we're putting you in for fraud. I wasn't injured. Why'd you go to the hospital? Well, my back clamped up on me. I went in. I got a muscle relaxer. I went home. I was done. That's fraud. What the fuck? Got a hold of my lawyer. We got court dates all set up and went in. And, we're sitting there, and I had two smug lawyers. And they were looking at me, and they're like, well, you were in this accident. You didn't tell us. I said, yeah, I freaking forgot about it. I'm sorry. You forgot about a car accident. Yeah, it was 10 years ago. It wasn't that big. Well, you went to the hospital. Yeah, and I explained that. Hey, my back. And when you get in a car accident, your muscles tense up. And I wanted to get checked out. I didn't cause the accident. Well, how much did you get in that insurance money? I looked there and I said, not a goddamn dime. And all of a sudden, you just heard like a, what? I looked there, I said, in the state of New Jersey, you just can't sue for anything. You have to have obvious injuries to sue over a car accident. Well, you went to the hospital. Well, how do you know the other attorney then whipped around? How do I know? Talk to a lawyer. Well, maybe that lawyer didn't know what he was talking about. I was like, do you want me to call my father-in-law and ask him? I said, because I'm pretty sure my father-in-law is going to want that if there's a chance I can get money to help support his daughter, he would have made sure that I was able to sue an insurance company. But he said I had no case because I was not injured. I went as a precaution and just to get a simple shot. Well, a couple minutes later it was, okay, you're back on. We're not going to do fraud because it's not fraud. I fucking forgot. And that's what insurance does. That's what insurance does. They were hoping that I would just give, oh, you're going to charge me a fraud. Never mind, I'm done. I forget about it. I'm done. No, I got hurt at work. I didn't even want to go to the doctors. I was forced to go to the doctors. It just was, oh my God. They tried everything. Everything they could. And they'll do that with these houses. All right, shit. We're at our first break. Listen. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making. In a world controlled by corrupt politicians.
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Looking at some generators real quick while I was on break, and wonder how soon that one would get in. Hey, if my wife is saying I can get a generator, I'm not going to bitch. That'd be stupid of me. Now all of a sudden it's not showing prices. What the hell? That one's $208. Like I said, when the wife says that, you go, okay, yes, dear, yes, dear. Manly man toys. Why does that always do that? It always sets me up with the wrong zip code. All right, nothing there. What to do with you? I wonder if Harbor Freight. Let's check Harbor Freight. I wonder if I'm going to get to any of the articles I've set up. And it's... I saw... I couldn't believe it today. I left to go get my daughter. And the bumper-to-bumper, literally bumper-to-bumper, stop-and-go traffic on I-75 North. It just had me floored. I was like, shit. And it's, people are trying to get out of the state. I know my cousin who lives south of me, and it's going to get hit hard down there. And my aunt just moved in with him. They packed up, and they're heading, I think, for Atlanta, Georgia. But he's heading out of state. They ordered the evacuation of a lot of people from South Florida. So it could be bad. And, I mean, people were driving. The traffic was unbelievable, even east to west today. I couldn't believe the amount of traffic I was dealing with. I really couldn't believe the amount of traffic I was dealing with. And the accident I saw, just people rushing, not paying attention, driving like idiots, and just... I mean, it was a pretty bad accident. So, I just... People are so hyped up and scared right now. That's when everybody just needs to step back, take a breath, relax. Now, I know it's hard to do, and it's easy to say, but you really have to be calm. Getting worked up and freaking out and driving like a madman is not going to help. Because the only thing that's going to do is get you in an accident, and you're not going to get out of the area. I'm serious. If you're driving like that, it's nuts. Stupid. It just... Don't do that, people. Calm down. That's the worst thing to do in any emergency, is to freak out like that. That is the worst thing to do. It just is one of the things I was taught. Because I'm used to, like, the fire companies, because I was volunteer, we'd be running in the building, running full bore. EMS, I went to do that, and they looked at me and went, stop. If you get hurt running in, who's going to go save them? Stop. Calm down. Relax. Work your way in. It kind of goes to that slow is steady, steady is fast. And that saying's kind of real. Slow is steady, steady is fast. Slow is steady, steady is fast. And just, you get what needs to be done, and there. And that's what these people need to do. Driving around like a madman. Now there's 2 totaled, and I mean totaled, vehicles. The gentleman's probably going to had to get cut out of the car. It was that bad. He got T-boned, passenger side, and he's probably going to have to get cut out. Pretty sure he's cut out by now, but it again, it's not going to help people. Holy shit. Damn. Sorry, like I said, I'm looking at generators. And I'm just, damn. I'm also looking at Lowe's now, and it's a holy Toledo. I don't know. One good thing coming out for Texas right now is the state of Texas won at least a temporary victory on Tuesday in its bid to implement a controversial voter identification law when a federal appeals court stayed a ruling by a U.S. district court judge that barred its enforcement. Basically what that is a U.S. district court judge said that voter ID was not good and stopped it from being put into place. Now, another judge, a U.S. appeals court judge, comes along and says, no, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a federal appeals court. And says, yes, it can go into effect. A 3-member panel of the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans voted 2-1 to put the lower court's judge ruling on hold while it considers the constitutionality of the law, which was passed this year by state Republican-controlled legislative. So I got a question. Voting is a right that they say you shouldn't have to show ID. Owning a gun is a right, but I have to have an ID. Let that sink in for a second. I have to have an ID to use my right to self-defense. But to vote, I don't have to show that I'm a U.S. citizen. Does that make sense to anybody? Seriously, does that make sense to anybody? What the heck is going on? Getting told the sound quality on I haven't done nothing. I really haven't done nothing. I'm fucking an internet company, I'm telling you. Internet company is throttling me down, or YouTube or something. Because I know it was sounding good because I checked it before. It's not the first time it's done that either. I've had it where the last couple of shows, the first half of the show, it's doing great. But then all of a sudden, it just gets all staticky. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on, and that's pissing me off. Shut that down. No, I've had it the last couple of days. It's not Irma. I've had it the last couple of days. Let me see if that helps. Pissing me off. I'm telling you, it's Comcast. Jackasses or YouTube or something. Going back to this article, it's why is it constitutional? It's okay to force people to get a ID to carry a gun, to own a gun, but I don't need nothing to vote. Voting can be just as dangerous as owning a gun. The bill was meant to fix elements of a 2011 voter ID measure that was considered one of the strictest in the United States and subject to years of court challenges during the Obama administration. President Donald Trump, who campaigned on cutting voter fraud, has supported Texas' bid to require that voters show a form of identification. The state that made a strong showing that it is likely to succeed in the merit of the case, Judge Jennifer Elrod and Jerry Smith wrote in a 6-page ruling. A spokesman said, "We are pleased with the Fifth Circuit has stayed the injunctions and allowed Texas to proceed with its duly enacted voter identification law. Preserving the integrity of the ballot is vital to our democracy, and the Fifth Circuit order allows Texas to continue to fulfill that duty as this case moves forward." You know what? I don't understand on the Democrat side. They bitched at Russia hacked, Russia got involved. This will stop Russia from getting involved. Oh, no. This is different. You know, they've been bitching about the hacking of our election, but they don't want to do anything to stop illegal voting from happening. I know nothing happened with Russia. I'm using their own argument back against them. And, of course, you got the Texas Democrat chairman, Gilberto Hinojosa, something like that. Could not be reached for comment, but has previously likened the voter ID requirement to, guess what? Jim Crow-era tactics designed to keep Republican lawmakers in power. See, I love when Democrats bring that up, because I would throw it back in your face going, hey, you do know about Jim Crow tactics because you're the one that created Jim Crow laws. It was the Democrat Party that did the Jim Crow laws to keep Democrats in power. And they say that it's tailored to make it harder for minority and immigrants, including blacks and Hispanic voters, who are less likely to have authorized ID and tend to favor Democrats to cast ballots. So what the Democrats are saying is these blacks and Hispanics are too fucking stupid to go get an ID. How do they get their prescriptions? How do they cash a check? How do they drive? How do they go on vacation? How do they fly? The list goes on and on. It's funny, Democrats sit there and bitch about IDs, and then they push for welfare states, but to get welfare, you got to show an ID. Things that make you go, And Democrat, it's their go-to. It's racist. It's Jim Crow. How many times do we hear that anymore? It's racist. It's racist. It's racist. It's racist. Oh my God, racist. If they actually came out with an argument that made sense, I think I'd probably have a heart attack on the spot. Right there. It's the big one. Oh, what the hell was it? I can't remember her name. Sanford and Son. It's the big one. I'm coming to see you. Jesus. If they actually came up with an argument other than it's racism. I dropped that right there. Oh. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians.
You got a business. You didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. I have no idea why that sounds all gobbledygooked, and that's pissing me off. It's not my computer, because when everything starts, it sounds great. Probably my goddamn pissant Comcast. I mean, I hate them. I loved Comcast when I was up north. This crap service they give me down here. The system, when I bought my house in 2007, it was owned by the cable company was Adelphia. And they basically, I think they went belly up or something. And they sold out to Comcast. And I was real excited. I bought my house. I was like, yes, I get Comcast back. Then I started seeing, I don't even have on-demand on my TV. That's how bad their system is here. And I've talked to their techs multiple times over the years. And basically the system is so outdated, the hardware is so outdated, they're having trouble making it backwards compatible. So I'm losing channels left, right, and center because, well, sounds like the programming can't go backwards. Everything's, their TV's crap. If I want to watch on demand, I had to go out and buy a laptop to hook to my computer, my TV. I then had to go on the internet, log into the Comcast program, so I could watch something on demand. So probably this crap signal I'm sending is through Comcast. Wouldn't doubt it. They're a joke provider in my area. I know one of my neighbors is petitioning Spectrum to come in and take over. I would love it. I've seen Spectrum's equipment. And I've gone so high, I've sent a letter to the CEO and got a phone call from one of the top executives. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm calling because I was wondering if it was like a technical issue that we could, send some technicians. And I explained what's going on. He's like, I've never heard of that. He goes, let me get back to you in a few. He calls me back. He goes, yeah, I called down there and confirmed what you said. He's like, I've never heard, I didn't know we had it that bad down there. I was like, no, you go to Orlando. They got the top system. You speak into the remote and all this crap. I said, but here they don't want to upgrade. We're the ugly stepchild. Well, they said that you're on the list to upgrade. I said, I've been hearing that for 10 years now. He's like, yeah, that's what the boss said too. He said, yeah, sounds like you guys don't want to. I was like, here's what I don't understand. I got told one time that they don't want to upgrade because there's not enough customers. It's not worth it. But to get more customers, you have to have a up-to-par system. So would you want customers bad-mouthing your service? Yeah, that's going to get you more customers. To get more customers, you're going to want to have a better service than Spectrum has. And Comcast is going all around this area. They're just being assholes and not upgrading my neighborhood because they don't want to spend the money to upgrade. They probably get more people out of my neighborhood because most of the people don't like, Frontier, who used to be Verizon. That's the only other choice we have unless we want to go Dish. It's Fios or Comcast. That's it. No, you can go those Amazon sticks and all that, and I don't know enough about them. But then I still have to have internet. It's funny, last night I got done with the show. Crash called me. It's like, yeah, I know. You're done with the show. I meant to call in earlier. Oh, man. So, yeah, Texas is looking good, and the Democrats are pulling the same shit. So there's some updates going on in the Debbie Wasserman Schultz issue with her IT guy. And they're wondering, did Imran want the Capitol Police to find Wasserman Schultz's laptop? And there's an argument now over whose laptop it is. And that's the funny part, is the argument over it. And why I say that is, she was threatening the police. She was threatening them. This belongs to me, or one of her personnel, and it has to be returned immediately. You have no right to hold it. I mean, she was threatening, you're going to regret this. Now, all of a sudden, she's like, oh, I've never seen the laptop in my life. It's not mine. I've never seen it. It's funny. Now, all of a sudden, she don't know shit about it, but she was threatening the Capitol Police chief when it wasn't hitting major news. Hang on. Looking for something. Do. See if I can find this. But yeah, they think maybe he left that in a very a place for it to be found and for all hell to break loose. All right, where is it? Trying to see if I can. I want to see if I can find YouTube video first. All right, here it is. We'll do something real quick. I'm going to play the video of her going at the police chief. Still to this day, I'm amazed. She should have been arrested. She should have been arrested for threatening that police chief. And you know what? They talk about obstruction and all that. That's obstruction. That's closer to obstruction than anything that Trump had done. So, just give me 1 minute. Sorry about this. Forgot about this to set it up right before the show, so it's my bad. But I'll have it in a second. I promise I will. All right. And almost there. All right. What can I change? That easy? Oh, yes, I can. What the hell? What the bloody blue faces is this? Oh man. One last thing, and I should be able to play this. All right. I don't know why that's showing. All right, I'm going to... I set the video up for the live broadcast. It'll show the actual video on the live broadcast. So if you want to go to YouTube real quick and go to SHR Media, hurry up. I'll give you like 2 minutes to get over there, and I'm going to play this video of Debbie Wasserman Schultz threatening the police chief of the Capitol Hill Police. I want to give everybody like a minute or two. It's what it is the laptop that Republican Debbie Wasserman Schultz had frantically fought to keep prosecutors from examining may have been planted for police to find by her since indicted staffer, Imran Awan, along with a letter to the U.S. Attorney. U.S. Capitol Police found the laptop after midnight on April 6, 2017, in a tiny room that formerly served as a phone booth in the Ray Burns House Office building. According to Capitol Police report reviewed by the Daily Caller News. And alongside the laptop were a Pakistani ID card, copies of Awan's driver's license and congressional ID badge, letters to the U.S. Attorney. Police also found notes in a composition notebook marked attorney-client privilege. The laptop had the username REPDWS, even though the Florida Democrat and former Democrat National Committee chairwoman previously said it was Awan's computer and that she had never seen him. And this is the woman who rigged the primary in the Democrat, and she wants us to believe now. So I'm going to play the video real quick. Here it is. This is her in a meeting with the Capitol Hill Police.
If the member loses the equipment, says they lose the equipment,
Yes, ma'am.
and it is found by the Capitol Police, it is supposed to be returned.
If ownership has been established,
Right.
it'll be returned. If it's subject to an ongoing investigation, there are additional things
Okay.
that need to be turned
But
over.
not an ongoing investigation related to the member. If the equipment belongs to the member, it has been lost, they say it's been lost and it's been identified as that member's, then the Capitol Police is supposed to return it. Correct?
Well, it's not I can't give a yes or no answer on that because I know
It's a
more
simple yes or no
parameters.
answer.
Well,
If you if a member loses the equipment,
Yes, ma'am.
and it is found by the Capitol Police or your staff, and it is identified as that member's equipment, and the member is not associated with any case, and that is their equipment, it is supposed to be returned. Yes or no?
depends on the circumstances, and if the circumstances are.
I don't understand how that's possible. Members' equipment is members' equipment. Under my understanding, the Capitol Police is not able to confiscate members' equipment when the member is not under investigation. It is their equipment, and it's supposed to be returned.
Well, I think there's extenuating circumstances in this case, and I think that working through my counsel and the necessary personnel, if that in fact is the case, and with the permission of through the investigation, then we'll return the equipment. But until that's accomplished, I can't return the equipment.
I think you're violating the rules when you conduct your business that way, and should expect that there would be consequences.
And you should expect the consequences. He told her that, remember, it was under investigation. She knew it. She tried threatening to get that material back. The laptop was found on the second floor of the Ray Burn building, a place Awan would have had no reason to go because Wasserman Schultz's office is in the Longworth building, and the other members who employed him had fired him. Now, Awan was banned February 2nd, 2017 from the Congressional Computer Network because he is suspected in a cybersecurity investigation, but he still had access to House facilities because Wasserman Schultz continued to employ him. Wasserman Schultz used a televised May 18, 2017 congressional hearing on Capitol Police budget to threaten consequences on the chief if he did not give her the laptop. And as you heard, if a member loses equipment, it should be given back, she said. The chief told her the laptop couldn't be returned because it was tied to a criminal suspect. Wasserman Schultz reiterated while Awan was a suspect, the computer should be returned because it's a member's if the member is not under investigation. She changed her story 2 months later, claiming it was Awan's laptop bought with taxpayers' funds from her office, and she had never seen it. She said she only sought to protect Awan's right. This was not my laptop, she said August 3rd. I have never seen that laptop. I don't know what's on the laptop. Suddenly, she don't know shit about it. When just a couple months ago, she was threatening a police chief with consequences for not turning it back over. Now, Awan and his wife and two of his Pakistani-born brothers are at the center of a joint FBI, Capitol Police, cybersecurity, criminal investigation of their IT work for dozens of Democrat House members. Awan was arrested by the FBI at Dulles International Airport on July 25, 2017, while trying to board a flight to his native Pakistan, and then indicted on 4 counts of bank fraud in connection with his wire transfer of nearly $300,000 to Pakistan. The bank fraud charges are connected to a cybersecurity probe. The circumstances of the laptop's appearance described in the police report suggest Wasserman Schultz was trying to keep police from reviewing a laptop that Awan himself may have wanted them to find. The former phone booth room where police found the item is small, and there was no obvious reason to enter it. Leaving important items there accidentally would seem extremely unlikely, according to Representative Gormont, a Texas Republican, a former prosecutor, and a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Imran Awan is a calculated person who made great efforts to cover his tracks both electronically and physically, placing that laptop with his personal documents, which may well incriminate him, those he worked for, or both, in the dead of the night in a House office building was a deliberate act by a cunning suspect, and it needs to be investigated, was a statement from Texas Representative Louis Gromart, or whatever his name is. Even the laptop was allegedly used only by an IT aide who worked for numerous members. Wasserman Schultz has hired an outside counsel to argue that the laptop not be examined. This attorney argued that the speech and debate clause, which only protects a member's information directly related to legislative duties, should prevent prosecutors from examining the laptop's content. The DCNF has learned, and the attorney did not respond to requests for comments. Now, why is she still so adamant about not letting anybody see that laptop? They have the clearance. There's something on there she doesn't want them to see. That makes me really wonder what the hell's going on. She went so far to threaten a Capitol police officer, a chief officer, to protect that information. We'll be talking more about this on the other side of the breaks. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a live stream, it's easy. Just go to Reaver.one, that's REAVER.ONE, and click on the SHR TV button. Well, you can also, hang on, I'm not done, hold up there, I'm not done. You can also go to YouTube, search SHR Media, and don't forget to hit the little subscribe button to keep up to date with all the great shows. And you can also go to Facebook Live. And then, coming up top of the hour in about, 50 minutes from now, right after the Reaver of Common Sense, will be the Sackheads Radio Show, hosted by Sackhead Clint, Sackhead Claw, Sackhead Sean, and BZ. They'll have a couple special guests tonight. One of them will be Melanie. She has a show on SHR Media, and it is a financial show, I believe it is. Unfortunately, I'm not awake at that time, so I really haven't heard. I've heard a lot of great things about it, and I know her background is extensive into this, And I would trust her with my money. Let's put it that way. And then, of course, you'll have some other schmuck calling in, give some updates, and that would be me, Jersey Joe. I'll be calling in tonight. They're having me do double duty. They got the whip out, cracking it, making me do all this work. They're such slave drivers. They are. Let's see, where are we at? Wow. Sorry, looking at something real quick. So what we got is Debbie Wasserman-Schultz throwing a hissy fit over this laptop and doesn't want anybody to look at that. That ought to be raising a lot of alarm bells that she doesn't want a laptop looked at. And why wouldn't she? I'm pretty sure if there was naked pictures on her, nobody's going to want to look at them. Sorry, but nope. Maybe there's some compromising photos of her. I think there might be some other stuff. She's done some. She rigged a primary. She rigged the primary against Bernie Sanders, and that's a multi-million-dollar scam they pulled. They took donations from people and knew damn well they were meant for Bernie Sanders and knew damn well they were not going to allow Bernie Sanders to win. How you doing, BZ? They knew damn well they were not going to let Bernie Sanders win, and they took money from people on behalf of Bernie Sanders. So if that woman's willing to scam people out of millions of dollars, what else is she willing to do? And it's showing me there's something big that she's hiding that she doesn't want the FBI looking at that laptop. Because if it was just some duty of a office worker, it would not be a big idea. It wouldn't be any issue for the FBI to look and go, yeah, there's nothing on here, just some bullshit office work stuff. Done. There's something on there that's illegal. She knows it's on there, and she wants to hide it. But, gotta remember one other thing. I mean, what the heck? Something's missing here. Now, when we go about it, it's the most recent notable example of a member hiring an outside attorney to argue a more aggressive interpretation is former Louisiana Rep. William Jefferson, who was convicted August 4th, 2009, of using his office to try to enrich himself and relatives through a web of bribes and payoffs involving business ventures in Africa. Investigators found $100,000 in cash in his freezer. We also have Mendez, who's going under trial, and that trial isn't going too good for him. And it's going so bad that NBC has been saying that Senator Mendez from New Jersey, is a Republican. They're trying to cover it up. And now you have Debbie Wasserman-Schultz, all this going on. And the collection of documents found in the Rayburn tied the laptop to Awan and ensured the police would keep the computer. The reporting officer wrote that when he saw Awan's name, he recalled guarding an interrogation of him a few months earlier. The attorney-client privilege notation also prevented police from immediately reviewing some of the papers. Nevertheless, the officers opened the MacBook and found that its login screen... Hey, we got Crash calling in. Hold on one second. I want to welcome... hang on, shit. I want to welcome Crash to the show. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing. How you making out, brother?
I'm okay. I got to go look at generators tomorrow now. The wife now decides she wants to get a generator. Don't laugh, because I remember right before Storm, you did the same thing. Yeah.
Are you talking about Sandy up here?
I don't know which one it was, but there was a storm, and you were running around looking for a generator, and you were pissed because everybody was jacking the prices up.
Different thing. No. You can't compare the two. The difference is, here's the difference.
All right.
I already owned a generator, had loaned it to a friend, got it back the week before Sandy was to hit, and then fried out the alternator on it. So I already thought that I had a generator ready to go.
Nice cover-up.
And found out that, what's that?
Nice cover-up.
Okay, you know what? Do you want to talk to my boss? Because she's in the other room getting ready for bed. I'll put her on the fucking phone.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh.
Yeah, anyway. Now, how you guys making out down there?
It's fine right now. Just a lot of people being stupid. I went to the store to get like a 5-gallon jug of water, and holy shit. All the Gatorade was gone. Jordan was in there. She's looking at the shelf, and she's like, are we in a store? I mean, everybody's ripping everything off the shelf. So, it's not the healthiest, but I got 5 cases of soda, 3 ginger ale, grape and root beer, and 2 gallons of sweet tea.
You know what the thing is, though? Okay, so you got all that stuff. Well, some of that stuff's going to get drank in the meantime, right?
Yeah.
You rinse the bottles, you save them, you fill them up 2/3 to 3/4 of the way, you fill it with water, and then you freeze it.
Well, don't forget I have my little project that I did, that I have 2 5-gallon jugs here.
That's true.
And then I have another trick. Hang on. And this pissed me off because by the time I thought of it, Jordan had already thought about it and told one of her teachers. Now, I'm not going to be able to drink it, but I can use it for toilet and washing up, so forth. I got 275 gallons of rainwater sitting outside.
Oh, that's perfect for. I mean, you can use that for if you're cooking because you boil it. For flushing toilets, for cleaning up messes, for. I mean, that's. I mean, honestly.
And if I really wanted to get off my ass, I got 255 blue gallons. You know what I'm talking about, in my garage that just need to be cleaned, and I can always store water in those, drinkable water.
Well, the thing is, I mean, even the rainwater collection system that you got outside. Okay, everybody's going to the store now. Most people, you understand about emergency management. You've got a lot. You've got a wealth of knowledge about a lot of this shit. So I know this is just preach and require with you. But for anybody else that's listening in any of these areas, don't go after. You don't have to go after the hard fat items. Everybody goes after the bottled water.
Yeah,
everybody goes after that stuff.
Financially, it doesn't make sense.
Go to the sporting goods section and buy the empty water coolers.
Yeah.
Fill them with fucking tap water.
Yeah.
The tap water is just as clean.
Oh, they've been hitting the news on that big time. Don't worry. If you can't get the bottled water, just go to your tap. Start storing tap water. You don't have to buy.
Can you do that?
Well, we
go
talked
to the
about it.
Section, pick up, get the Coleman tablets, get a Life Straw. You get that type of stuff, and then the rainwater that's collected can be used for drinking water. It can be used for other purposes.
Well, that's why I said, in worst case scenario, I can always boil it and try to filter it.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I mean, I lived in Florida. You know this. I was down there for quite a while, off and on, between family and then living there. My personal opinion, I would actually prefer to drink rainwater straight up than straight up tap water in a lot of areas.
Well, the only reason I'm worried, it's been sitting for a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's
aerated.
Yeah, I know. With the rain that's been coming in and around, it's been flushed out and everything because it's got to overflow. So new rain's coming in, flushing it out, and like I said, I got 2 55-gallon drums that are in my garage that are set up for water storage, and I just would have to go out and really clean them up real quick, and I could dump.
You're doing better than I am up here.
I mean, I'm probably not going to do it. It's just something I could do.
Well, of course you're not. You're fat and you're lazy. I know you won't, but
well, I'm kind of split on it because at first I was like, all right, I see it tracking to the east, but it is bigger than the state. And then I was listening to Sean Hannity, He had an expert on, and he said by Sunday night it's going to be hitting Orlando, and then they said Tampa, and they said we're going to get hit good. And I went, fuck.
Well, now here's the thing to remember. I mean, this is I hate making statements without fact-checking myself, but if I remember correctly, northern hemisphere hurricanes rotate in a counterclockwise direction.
Yes, the weak side's
if,
on the west side.
Okay, so based on the rotation, you're going to get hit with strong. You're going to be on that end of it. It all depends on.
We'll be on the weak side of it still, but
which path it ends up taking. But the problem is,
you're still going to be talking class 3.
That impacts where your house physically is. That doesn't necessarily impact, but the impact to the electrical grid could be on the other side. The impact to water filtration and supply could be on the other side. So where your house could be fine, your utilities could be destroyed. And that's the one thing that a lot of people. I'm not saying you. I mean, I already know. You
know what? I didn't think of that exact thing because yes, my service station for electric is about 10, 20 miles east of me.
That puts that more in direct line. More. In
well, I know you probably don't know, but Plant City. Have you ever heard of Plant City?
Yeah,
I know of it. That's where my power grid is. I'm like 10 miles west of Plant City. So I'm kind of going, well, maybe this might be, because I've heard it, so many times and nothing's happened. So I'm playing it by day, seeing how it goes, but I'm doing a couple things.
At the end of the day, that's all you can do is just, you got to roll with the punches, see how it goes.
Now, the one I am worried about that I'm glad you called in on. So we have our tactical rescue, the state tactical rescue team.
What?
State tactical rescue.
Okay.
They got sent to Texas for rescue in Texas. They just got back today. How tired are they? Now they got to restock, get everything back going, get some rest because they're going to be doing rescues here in Florida. Those guys I feel bad for. And I talked about it. That's what they're trained for. That's what they look for. The energy level will be kicked up. The adrenaline will kick in. But still, that's a lot of wear and tear on their bodies going from one like that, now coming back and getting hit with another. That is like shit.
That and add the emotional toll to it. This is now their home.
Yeah.
So now it's also their families. It's their friends. There's going to be an emotional toll taken on all these guys. Which is, I haven't heard any confirmed reports from up here yet, but I know, was it Virginia Task Force 2? They set down in Puerto Rico already. They're working that zone. New Jersey Task Force 1 is demobilizing, and they will be returning to New Jersey within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Just to get reset.
I haven't heard a confirmed report yet, but the chatter is they're returning and remobilizing and swapping out personnel to be available for this storm, depending on how it hits the southeast. Now, the one thing to remember with the task forces is, I can't speak for all of them, but I know with the ones that I've worked with, it is every single position is staffed 2 to 3 deep.
Yeah.
So Task Force 1 deployed, there essentially is an addition. There's really 2 more task forces that are equal in personnel that did not deploy. They were just on a separate rotation. So Task Force 1 comes back, and then Task Force 1 goes out. It's not necessarily all the same guys. Some of the supervisory, some of the officers would possibly be the same, especially as you get higher up the brass levels, but the ground pounders that you're worried about being exhausted, tired out, and everything else, it's going to be a fresh crew. It's just the same as when we swapped out,
Yeah, but you also know those guys. They'll still just ram right through it.
Yeah.
Which reminded me,
I
know you have some issues with this gentleman. It's personal issues, but I was telling about that. We have crews with FEMA. They have crews that are in the islands. For the Virgin Islands, all down through there. They're in Texas. FEMA's another one that's stretched out right now. I know they have all these teams, but still their resources are getting stretched at this point because it's not just Texas. There's some other incidents they're responding to.
They've been dealing with wildfires in the West. They've been, there's been all types of crap going on. I mean, this season is
Global warming. Global warming.
Tracking two. Oh Christ! Don't even. I ain't got the fucking energy for that shit. But they're tracking two more. I mean, there's another storm right on the tail end of Irma. There's another one that's building in the Gulf.
Gulf one is with a K. The other one is Jose on a stick.
Now, just to be clear, I mean, I know you and I may have differing opinions on the one individual you just referenced. I don't wish the guy any harm.
Oh, no. I didn't say that.
Truly hope that he comes back safe. It's just...
You got personal. That's why I said it was personal. And I wasn't there. I don't know the whole story.
Personal and work issues.
Right. And, but the guy, you got to give him one credit. He did know the material inside and out. And kind of that feed him a job's kind of perfect for him. Because he's doing...
Well, the thing is, I will give him one thing. As an educator... He is, bar none, it's top. He is great with book, field application, and dealing with other personnel in the field. He needs an interpreter.
Yeah,
if there's not somebody to be there as the buffer so he doesn't get punched in the fucking jaw, he's screwed.
I'll give you that. He could be, yeah.
He's an arrogant fuck.
But doing those, he's gone around the world. I've seen his page that he talks about. He goes around and doing scenarios and training, that type of stuff.
The training stuff, you know what, he was always good at that. Yeah. And I'm not going to knock the guy's training skills because he, like I said, I mean, he's a wealth of knowledge. I mean, he has got a phenomenal brain. The guy is great he's a great tactician. I mean, he's the type of guy that I would love. I mean, I would have no problem with him being in a command post and running the logistics. And, you know, thinking ahead, you know, being 10 steps ahead of a situation. And that is where he excels. Giving the commands on the ground as the situation is developing and having to think on the fly without all the toys, that's where he fell up short, at least in my experience. That's not where I think that he is suited. And that's where he, at least in my experience, that's where he always wanted to be, and that's where he... you know, decided to piss me off at. So, but in any case, I regress.
You regress to a child? What?
Shut up.
So yeah,
it's at least on the bright side. If anything happens around your area, you know you're just going to float like a fucking bobble.
Oh yeah, fat people float nicely.
Oh, you know what? Real quick, I had a real quick question. There was actually a reason behind this call. Okay. You don't mess around with amateur radio down there, do you? I mean, like ham radio, CB, any of that type of shit, right?
No.
Okay. So you weren't one of the assholes that I was getting into it with earlier today, which is good.
Okay.
I was on I was poking around. My company does a lot of business down there. So, I mean, they're like, you know, keeping an eye on this, and depending on how it goes, and you know, the whole thing with Sandy, certain people, including my company, it's so fresh in their minds. Because I had some people up here that did, you know, in the company that did lose a lot. So I've been keeping an eye on everything for them, and I ended up on this one chat, which was essentially like an amateur radio broadcast. I can't remember what station it was, but it was just essentially just, you know, they were discussing about Florida and getting ready, and a lot of it was all well intentioned. Most of it was amateurish. There was some that was, you know, more professional information, and then of course you have to have the fucking trolls. But every single time they brought up specific areas, I lost count of how many times people said, well, if you're in Tampa, you're going to be fine. Tampa's a completely different area. Tampa will be just okay. This hurricane will not impact it. I felt like getting on and saying, dude, shut the fuck up, Reaver. What the fuck are you sounding about? I felt like just because, I mean, I know that. I mean, I knew it wasn't you, but it was just like,
no, from the beginning,
I actually asked one of the guys. I put a statement in there. I'm like, okay, you do realize that Tampa in Florida is not the same as the way Californians view the state as part of the country, right? You're not actually your own entity. Like, you actually are part of something greater. You did take a geography class at some point. in your illiterate education, and then he comes back and goes, what do you mean illiterate? So I copied a post that he'd done like 5 threads earlier where he misspelled 3 words. He didn't say
Grammar
anything for a
Nazi.
while after that.
Grammar Nazi.
No, he decided to challenge me.
I know.
Check and mate. Fuck you.
Now, this is what I was looking at earlier in the week. I saw that probably we were going to get impacted by some winds and some heavy rains, like the last couple storms that have gone through. But more and more we're seeing this storm is so big and so powerful now that I'm hearing even what's going to be hitting over here could be like a Cat 2, Cat 3 hurricane winds.
I haven't heard anything below a Cat 3.
But no. I'm talking over here in Tampa. That's what we'll be feeling while it's maybe a Cat 4 or a Cat 5. If it doesn't lose any strength, they're saying some of the winds, because it's so big in the rotation, we're going to hit with the weak side, but we're still looking at some high winds and everything. So that's where now it has me going, maybe in my initial assessment, and I know what's going to happen. 5 minutes of done.
But remember that with the categories, I mean, yeah, you got the strong side and the weak side, but it's categorized by the sustained wind speeds.
Right.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Regardless of which side you're on, it's still a range. So if it's making landfall and it's classified as a Cat 3, you should still be banking on Cat 3 wind speeds regardless of where in the cycle you're going to be. Now, based on what I've been watching, it's going to start to weaken, and by the time it hits southern, if it does take the path on a direct track to Florida, it's going to come up from the south and give you guys a proctology exam.
Yep.
At that point, it's going to be a 4 to a 3. By the time it hits, I mean, if it really does come right up the center of the state, by the time it gets to you, it's going to be at a 3. There's too much land mass in Florida. For as thin as that peninsula is, there's still too much land mass. But even a Cat 3 storm, I mean, you're still talking, I have to look it up, 80 to just over 100 mile an hour wind.
Yep.
I mean, you're still talking a hell of a windstorm. And, I mean, we build windows for down there. And it's not, the wind is part of it because of the pressurizations. But the other part of it is just the flying debris. I mean, just one guy doesn't tie something down and it breaks apart. You got 2x4s flying.
Oh, yeah. My neighbor across the street, she was talking about leaving the state. And I talked about it earlier. My cousin lives 3 hours south of me. And his mother, my aunt, just moved in with him. And last night they packed up. They headed out. And when I was going to pick up my daughter, number one, the traffic today was atrocious. I mean, everybody's still getting gas, but the traffic was unbelievable. And then I looked at I-75, which is the main north-south on the west side of the state, and it was bumper to bumper, stop-and-go traffic. Because they got everybody from South Florida evacuating. And you only got, basically 2 main roads. You got 95 on the east side and 75 on the west side. It's the only 2 major highways. I know there's other roadways you can take, but for the major, it's just those 2.
Well, and don't forget, I mean, you're going to have everybody dumping. I mean, everybody coming out of the Keys, because right now, I believe that the Florida Keys are a mandatory evacuation for any and all visitors and tourists, but as of tomorrow morning, they're looking at mandatory evacuation for all residents. Now, to get out of the Keys, there's only one freaking highway, and that's it. US 1.
You actually just remind me of something. I don't mean to cut you off, because the guy was saying there's nothing. Tampa's fine. The mayor of Tampa has declared state of emergency, city of emergency. And he said right now some of these people might want to think about leaving. He's not ordering a mandatory evacuation, but he said if you know you flood in that area, get out now. And he almost pulled the same thing in Texas, that if you don't get out, you're going to be in a body bag type deal.
Well, the thing is, I hate that statement. I really do. The problem with it is, I mean, one, I think it's fear mongering to an extent.
Well, I think it's getting it through people's head.
True, because most people, the way they look at it, and especially with the current generation, F the police, F the police, F the police. Oh wait, he hit me. I want the cops. Everybody expects that emergency response is going to be there when they need them. The fact of the matter is, once a storm hits a certain point, especially with like hurricanes, we'll just go with that. Sustained hurricane level winds, once they get to a certain level, responders cannot go out. It's actually in the protocol. It's because
in Florida, I think it's 55-mile-per-hour winds.
No longer a help. We are now a hindrance to rescue efforts because there is no safe way to effect a rescue.
Did you hear me?
So, sorry. No, go ahead.
Here in Florida, I believe if the winds are above 55 miles per hour, they will not pull out of the building. Because I about shit
55?
myself. Yeah, I know. Because it's a high-standing vehicle, and it could tip over. I looked at the guy. I was like, "You're joking, right?"
Yeah, I actually thought it was closer to 80 miles an hour. High-standing vehicle that's carrying, a ton plus 2 tons of just water plus all the steel plus all the gear. But Christ, we had drivers in our station that actually tried to flip the fucking things in snowstorms.
Oh, please. I was out in blizzards and tornadoes.
Chris, I remember an engine going sideways down a residential street. I mean, we were freaking we were curb to curb.
Back in my day, we didn't stay off the road.
Right, here we go.
Back in my day, we went out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. I never heard of that. I don't.
With me, you've got patches with more street time than me. Yeah.
I'll smoke you faster than I smoke this cigarette.
You don't smoke, asshole.
I know. No, but really, I mean, how many times did we say we weren't going out because of weather?
I'm not sure our crew's ever said that.
No, I was out on the fire trucks and goddamn tornadoes.
The only thing that our crews, when you and I were running, the only thing that we did, weather got worse, we called more guys to come into the fucking station, and we started staging.
Staging, yeah.
We just increased the staging, cutting down the response times and the distances, and putting additional units on for assistance. That's what we did.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how we handled it. I mean, I can understand. I mean, if you're talking, Category 3, Category 4, winds and storm surge, and you're talking waves that are going to be coming up. I mean, because if it was a coastal area, because I know they did that up here with Sandy, fire departments, they had to literally stay in quarters just because of storm surge, because the waves coming over were taller than those waves would take a fire truck out easily. And they'll take out a fire truck. They'll take out a rig.
Let's go back to the statement that some of these politicians made, and I'm not trying to attack any of the politicians, but some of them made those comments they made the comments that if you stay, put your Social Security on your arm. Listen, in Katrina, that turned out to be very true. In Texas, they were sort of in the same boat. In Florida, they're saying this storm's going to be worse than Texas, that if you're told to evacuate and you decide to stay, there's a chance you might not make it out. Don't bitch. And that's why I hate these people like, I'm going to stay, I'm going to stay, I'm going to stay. Where's everybody to rescue me? You were told to get out, weren't you?
Well, and you know what? And that's the thing. I mean, honestly, it's...
But some of these people, you have to hit them in the head with a sledgehammer to get them to move.
The thing is, I mean, the days of... I hate to put it this way, but thank Christ. When I can't talk about when you first started, but I know when I did. You go into a burning building, and you're like, you got to get out. This building's on fire. It's going to come down, and they're arguing with you. No, I got to stay. I got to stay. Well, what you had to do, you did to get them the fuck out. And if they were conscious when you showed up and unconscious when you got them out, well, it just kind of happened. Nowadays, it's you know what? That's your right. You don't do it, and then the family sues you, and you go to fucking jail for negligence. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't nowadays.
Exactly.
I hate to say it, but I'm glad I'm not fully active anymore. For simply because I actually talked to a medic friend of ours, and I made a comment about wanting to possibly getting back in, and at least upping my status a little bit, getting more active. And she flat out, she's like, "Don't do it." Okay, why? Because you'll be in jail. Why would I go to jail? You'll either kill your partner, kill a patient, or kill a supervisor. It's got to be one of the three. They've rewritten the rules so much since you dropped your status that it's
exactly.
You
I already know. Yeah,
can't do anything with congressional approval in this state. I was like, fuck that.
It's not just New Jersey. It's like that here in Florida too. That's why I'm glad I'm not on the street anymore.
Florida was worse before New Jersey got worse.
Well, yeah, I will agree.
It's always been bad.
I would not be able to deal with it anymore. Listen, I got to take a break. And I know you said you had to get going, so I appreciate you.
Well, I'm going to say,
yeah.
Well, I'll stay on with you for another minute, but everybody stay safe. Any of the listeners in Florida or any of the affected areas, stay safe. Prayers are with you. All right, hoping nothing but the best for you and your family.
I'll be in touch with you, bro. So, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Catherine is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here, and we have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a live stream, it's easy. Just go to Reaver.one. That's REAVER.one. Click on the SHRT TV button. You can also go to YouTube. Total brain fart there. It kind of like went blank. YouTube. And search for SHR Media. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Holy shit, basic words have gone out of my head. And then there's also Facebook Live, and just Reaver of Common Sense. And that's how you can watch all the different ways. Plus, to listen, you can go to SHR Media and High Plains Pundit, as always. And coming up in about, just 12 minutes, will be the Sackheads radio show, hosted by Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint, and the great BZ. Will be there. And I believe Melanie is going to be guesting on a segment, and I will be calling in and giving an update on any information I can find about the weather here in Florida, because it's not going to be sunny and fine here. Let's see. What do we want to get to before we get out of here? Real quick, because we were talking about the Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Now, we were talking about that laptop that was left. Now, you got to remember, the laptop was left there. Yeah, BZ, I'm going to be doing a new one possibly this weekend. I took the old one off. I got everything set together. I'm going to have my wife do the voiceover for me, and I'm going to get it to you as soon as possible. I got your stuff added in. I did that last night. I had ways to get the commercials. I used my Jedi mind trick. But yeah, I got to get it to you. I just need my wife to do the voiceover for me, and I'll get it to you. I might do that. I don't know if you listened to one that says you're listening to SHR Media. I want to redo it and take out the .com. I don't know. I might leave the .com, and I might send that to you too. But a former IT staffer that would be so great, BZ. A former IT staffer for House Democrats who's been in Pakistan for months has struck a deal with federal prosecutors, agreeing to return to the United States and face charges. The wife of Imran Iwan, who worked for House Democrats and now faces bank fraud and conspiracy charges, had left with her children for her native Pakistan while under a federal investigation. Both defendants reportedly worked at one time for Representative Gregory Meeks, a Democrat from New York. Iwana separately worked for Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Democrat from Florida, until he was arrested in July. But court documents show the wife has agreed to return to the U.S. and face an arraignment as early as October 6, when her husband is scheduled to appear in court for a status hearing. What do you think got her to return? Tell me that. What made her return to the United States? What deal was struck that has her coming back? I think Debbie Wasserman Schultz is shitting in her pants. Someone better send her some Depends real quick. Mendez corruption trial opens with hostility between the judge and the defense. U.S. District Judge William Walls and a defense attorney representing the New Jersey Democrat, Senator Bob Mendez, traded accusations in the courtroom during the corruption trial's first hearing Wednesday, the Associated Press reported. Walls repeatedly interrupted the defense attorney as he accused the judge of disparaging Mendez and derided his refusal to postpone hearings to allow Mendez to participate in Senate votes, the AP reported. Mendez wants special treatment. He wants to be treated special because he is a senator. He wants to be able to come and go, and the trial will be delayed when he wants it to be delayed. He wants special treatment like he is a king or a queen, and the judge has told him to go pound sand. Walls also criticized the defense for filing a motion to alter jury instructions. Mendez faces bribery charges for allegedly lobbying on behalf of a friend and longtime donor in exchange for monetary gifts and vacations to Europe and the Caribbean. Defense attorneys claimed they only filled the jury motion in accordance with a December order from Wall himself, to which the judge responded, "Fine, bill me." Mendez stands trial alongside his friend, Dr. Salomon Melgen, who was convicted in April of stealing $105 million through Medicare fraud between 2008 and 2013. Records show the senator accepted several campaign donations from Melgen, including vacations to Paris and Dominican Republic. Now, here's the other thing. The doctor's penalty phase has been delayed. And some are saying that it's been delayed because they want to make sure that he testifies against Mendez. And when he testifies against Mendez, he'll get a lighter sentence. Prosecutors allege that Mendez repeatedly met with then Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Siblis and acting Medicare administrator to intercede on Melgen's behalf in Medicare disputes. If the corruption trial ends in a conviction and Mendez is forced out of office before January, GOP Governor Chris Christie would be responsible for picking his successor. A Republican pick from Christie would loosen the deadlocked Senate in favor of Republicans, creating new hope for Obamacare repeal. Republicans in the Senate were just one vote away from passing Obamacare repeal in July, but Christie leaves office January 16th. So the jury will need to hand down a conviction before then if Senate Republicans hope to secure the potential 53-47 majority. Both Mendez and Melgen have pleaded not guilty. Not once have I dishonored my public office, Mendez claimed as he entered the courthouse. Have you ever heard many criminals go into a courthouse and preach that they broke the law? Listen, I'm not saying that... Just because he said that doesn't sway me one way or another. Innocent and guilty all say the same thing, that they're innocent. So I'm not exactly moved by Mendez saying it. He's lied about how many plane rides he took free of charge. You know, when he first got caught, it was an oversight. I forgot to pay for those 2 or 3 and paid $58,000 for it was like 2 or 3 plane rides. $58,000, people. And now it's found out there's a whole shitload more of these trips that he took on that plane and never paid for, never filed, never acknowledged, and now they have proof that he did it. It just makes me sit back and go, what the fuck, people? And it's happening so much with Democrats. Democrats got a little too cocky and a little too arrogant and felt they were untouchable. And that is what happened. They thought they were untouchable, and some of them are starting to get smacked around. Changing up subjects, we're going to talk about the Salt Lake City detective who handcuffed and dragged a Utah nurse who refused to take blood from an unconscious patient has been fired from his part-time paramedic job. Gold Cross Ambulance and Emergency Response Service announced Tuesday that Payne has been fired effectively immediately. In a statement, Gold Cross said while Payne was not working for the ambulance company during the incident, the company takes his inappropriate remarks regarding patient transports seriously. And from their thing, updated September 5th, 2017, Gold Cross Ambulance in Salt Lake City, Utah, has terminated Jeff Payne as a part-time paramedic effectively immediately. Although Jeff was not working for Gold Cross Ambulance at the time of the incident, we take his inappropriate remarks regarding patient transport seriously. We acknowledge those concerned individuals who have contacted us regarding this incident and affirm our commitment to serving all members of the community with kindness and respect. We will continue to maintain our values of understanding patient-focused care, safety, and the complete trust of the community we serve. The hospital now has it that the nurses are not to have any contact with the police officers anymore. Supervisor will now be dealing with it. The cop has ruined it for a lot of people because he lost his temper. Why he was forcing blood work to be taken on a victim. The trucker was a victim. They were in a high-speed chase with a criminal who ran his car into this tractor and trailer, which caught the tractor and trailer on fire, which severely burned this tractor and trailer driver, which then all of a sudden this detective, for whatever reason, is trying to force a nurse to break laws. She was following protocols. She was following the procedures that were agreed upon between the police department and the hospital. And there were certain things that were set up. Either the person had to be in police custody, a warrant, or consent from the patient. The patient was unconscious, there was no warrant, and he was not under arrest. And that cop threw a hissy fit when that supervisor said on the phone that they weren't doing it. So he goes after the nurse, and if you watch that video. When he's putting the handcuffs on the nurse, there's another cop that walks up behind the detective, puts his hand on the shoulder, and you can see his face like, he's so wrong in this. This is not going to be good. This is not going to be good. And I'm serious. You can look at him, and he almost, I think he's shaking his head. And they know there's so much in the wrong that the nurse was released after 20 minutes of being in the car. Because they knew that detective fucked up. I'm 100% behind the cops. This one I cannot get behind. I'm sorry. I cannot get behind what that officer did. It's ridiculous. And the nurse, I love the way she's acting. I just hope he gets trained. Oh, I'd be acting more than that. Well, that's to the end of the show. Up next is the Sackheads radio show hosted by BZ. Sackhead Sean, Sackhead Clint. You're going to have special guest Melanie, and I will be calling in to give a little update on the weather here in Florida. I will see everybody tomorrow, 9 p.m. Have a great night. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.